best thing since sliced bread. Here I'm introducing you guys today. Here, Maria Antonia Vicente, candidate for Ward 4, City of Brockton School Committee.
Daveiga.
Welcome. Daveiga.
Daveiga.
Maria Antonia
Maria
Daveiga.
Antonia Daveiga.
Welcome. And
Thank you.
this is
Melanie.
Melanie, your daughter. Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what brings you here today, and why are you running for school committee?
Okay, so a little bit about myself. Um, so a lot of people know me by Maria Antonia um, de Melinha in the Cape Verdean community, and also Maria Antonia, filho de Paulino de Montenegro. Um, so the name that I have right now, because I'm married, is Maria Antonia de Vega. I've lived in Brockton for probably over 30 years. I have kids that went to the Brockton school system. Um, I've done a lot of work, volunteer work, social justice work with BIC. I volunteered for Head Start for 4 years with Ulysses Shelton at the Crowley School. So they started me off on my educational journey. Right now, I work as a licensed practical nurse with intellectually disabled adults. And I've also volunteered with BAMSI as a Parent Information Network supporter.
You talking to the mic?
Um,
Yeah, sorry.
yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I've done a lot of advocacy work. Um, and I'm running because I believe that we can do better for our kids. We can do a lot better. And I'm very dissatisfied with how things are right now with our education system here in Brockton. And the reason is because we have so much to offer and it's not accessible right now. And as a parent, I'm frustrated just like every other parent out there.
Wow, that's super awesome.
So I want to help shape the next chapter in our kids' education.
Okay.
So, when you guys see, my son's picture on my page and on my Facebook page, um, I want the same thing for your kids. And I want parents to have a voice. I want parents to have a seat. And I want the community to be involved because um, if we think that the school system is going to do all the work for us, reality, and to tell you the truth, it's not. It's not. And that's why it's important for parents to be involved. And that's why it's important for the community to be involved and to support the kids. So this is a Brockton issue. Our kids' education is a Brockton issue. And we all have to pitch in. We all have to work together to make it happen.
So, how do you plan to advocate stronger with your committee members to put equitable policies and practices in place?
Well, I'm going to prioritize um, policies that promote fairness um, and inclusion. And we also have to make sure that we have training and development for the teachers. And I believe also for the board. We need training. As a board member, I would love to have these trainings on the board. Um, Not because we're lacking, but because we want to be better, right? Things change. The diverse learning of students change. And so we constantly have to keep up with training and development so we can do better for our kids. And we also have to address um, achievement gaps, right? And we have to look at data and we have to look at where those gaps are and then we have to address it. And by addressing it means that we have to involve students. We have to have a sit down to talk to these students. I can't come and give a one size fits all. That's not equitable. That's not inclusion. That doesn't happen. We have to talk to parents. And so if I'm going to help you, I need to know what is wrong. And and we have to work together on the solution um, to address that issue.
Interesting, interesting. So, what steps will you take to carefully assess the potential impact of a decision before moving forward? And how will you determine whether it truly serves the best interest of the students and the school community?
So that magic word there is students and community. How will I determine that? So like I said, one size doesn't fit all. Um, when I make when I'm trying to make a decision, um, I have to include my team. You have to include the team. The team has to be on board with that decision making, right? We have to talk to students. We have to think about what are the consequences, and what is the benefits? Is it sustainable? And on top of that, what is the cost, right? How much is this going to cost? And we have to talk to students. My whole thing is about involving students, involving parents, and involving community. So that is what my goal is. It's not, I don't want you to make the decision for me. I want to be included in the decision making, shared decision making. And that's the way that the board is supposed to be. And I feel that right now, all the decisions are being made for us, and we're just standing back, and we don't have a place, we don't have a voice. And I'm frustrated with that. So I want to make sure that, that's going to change. That has to change, because if you want students to succeed, you have to include them.
Mhm.
You have to.
I can see your heart's in the right place.
Yes, yes. And that's why my daughter's here, because, in a little while, we're going to talk about that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yes.
How do you see your role in setting a long-term vision for the district beyond managing crisis?
Okay, I see that we need to set a strategic goal. The board needs a strategic goal, and we have to work with the students, the teachers, the parents, and the community to see how we're going to set that, and what is going to be the next goal, because it has to align with the vision of the district, the school district. And so that will also help to direct resources to where it's needed, instead of having resources everywhere. Um, so that's how I see my role as a board member.
Hmm. How will you ensure that all students, especially multilingual learners, students with disabilities, and historically marginalized groups receive a high quality, equitable education?
Okay. Again, we have to have data to measure that what they are receiving is working. We have to do away with teaching that has not been effective, and bring in new methods. And we have to allocate resources, funding to these students, because it's going to cost more, and it's going to take more time to help them. But we also want to find out and talk to the students, what is the barrier? What is the barrier that's causing this achievement gap? What is stopping them from learning? And we have to address that issue. The students have to be involved in this. And we also have to make sure, because Brockton is a very diverse community, that the teaching is culturally responsive. Um, and I think also by having real life experience, giving the students opportunities, and somehow to bring in things that they can relate to. Yeah.
A few days ago, we had this conversation, you and I, about this term called the strategic plan.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, and is it being implemented now in the Brockton school systems? And if it's not, what's your plan to push that through to make sure the school systems have a strategic plan?
My goal is to collaborate with the team. And my goal is to involve organizations in implementing that. It's for us to work with our partners, our organization. It's to work with teachers, so we can identify where what we need to do. For example, if it's you know reducing high school dropout rate, or if it's increasing student achievement. Um, it might be, mental health or bullying. We have to have a strategic goal, and we have to make sure that the resources are supporting that versus just, dishing out money everywhere, and then you find out that there's not money for this and not money for that, and this is being cut, that's being cut every year. I feel as a parent, when my child goes to school, oh, this is being cut, that's being cut, you know, and it's just not, it's not stable. Our district is not stable. It's on a balance. We need to stabilize um, our education for our kids.
Thank you for sharing that. Um, what are your priorities for improving student outcomes in reading, math, and science?
Um, so again, that is working with partners. I've gone to a couple of meetings, and it is to identify resources in the community. We used to have Messiah Baptist. They used to do tutoring for kids. We used to have ESL program at Trinity Baptist that the pastor's wife was running. Um, so it's funding for these. It's to give funding so that way it's targeted into improving their reading, their math, and so on. Um, I think that Brockton has a lot to offer. I think it can be done. As we, it's not my board, it's our board. So how can we partner with the community? You have C Plan, you have DPAC, you have Sabura, you have um, churches here, and it's probably you have the Boys and Girls Club. How can we better support those organizations so we can get students back on track, that we can give them the help that they need? I always say you can pay up front or you can pay later. So I rather do it now to support them so we can have a better Brockton.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a two-part question. Um, how will you support student mental health and ongoing stresses in student lives? And what is your approach to reducing violence and improving school safety without contributing to over disciplining and criminalizing students?
Okay. So, I believe right now, Dr. Is it Snellgrove? I guess now they're trying to address the anti-bullying issue. Um,
That's
that
been going on for years.
that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. So, um, it's like this has been going on for a long, long time. They have these policies that they don't enforce, and they're not really addressing it. Okay. Just to talk a little bit about that bullying, I was bullied um, when I went to school. I went to Randolph High School for a little bit, and the students used to line up on either side of the locker. And then when I would walk in the middle, and they would call me all sorts of names. And I didn't know why, and I didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't like me. Um, I was into my books all the time, so it made learning difficult for me, and they really didn't address that. So I didn't want to go to school. And the thing is, it kills a student's dream. Bullying really kills, if you think about it, because I had dreams, I had good grades, and it's like, you know what? I don't want to go to school because this is what I'm going to encounter. So we really have to do something. It's we need stronger policies, we need consequences, but we also need to sit down with the perpetrator to find out why you're doing this, what is going on, and to let them know what the consequences is, because you can't keep doing that. You can't just be a bully in school, come out in the community and be a bully and terrorize, because what's going to happen, you're going to commit a crime, you're going to go to jail. And we need to address this. it's a community issue. So I think we do need to address the bullying, and like I said, one size doesn't fit all. Um, so we're there to listen. Like students can go, to the committee, school committee, they can speak. They can speak there. And if I believe that they can take a big stand if it's not being addressed, and they're not satisfied, they can show up to the committee and talk about what's going on, because I believe that's one way of creating attention to the situation in order to have a solution.
We're going to switch gears and talk about the budget oversight and fiscal responsibility.
Okay.
We talked about governance, your educational plan. We talked about student learning and academic outcomes. But I'm going to skip, and we talked about mental health, correct? So now I'm going to fast forward and then come back to something else later. We're going to go into budget oversight and fiscal responsibility.
Okay.
So what role do you believe the school committee should play in holding district leadership accountable for managing resources wisely?
Okay. So, um, oversight. Everybody's responsible. Okay. So we have to we have to be responsible, okay, for the budget. And that's why I said that we have to allocate the budget in order to support like the strategic plan, right, that we have. We have to make sure that we're not overspending, and also to make sure that we're not spending what we don't have. Um, so I was thinking about this morning. I said, you know what? Uh, if elected, their checkbook is like my checkbook, right? I check that periodically, and I go on my account to make sure that there's money there. I make sure that I'm not bouncing checks. I make sure that I have, money put aside for savings and all that. So it is also to go over the programs that we're spending money on. Is the program working? Do we have uh, um, an outcome for what we're paying for? Or is it just a monopoly game? Our students' education should not be a monopoly game, you know. And so we have to be serious about um, where we spend our money, how we spend our money, and what we are spending our money on.
You just answered my next question, so I'll skip that one. But do you feel as though what's going on now with the current financial system in the school committee, do you feel that it's easy to turn it around? Because the school has a deficit right now, correct?
I'm assuming right now they said they took care of it, but I think something's gonna come up short,
Yeah.
okay? Because it took a long time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that we have to be very careful. We have all of these, you know, um, high-paying positions. What are these people doing? Are they just occupying a desk? Are they going into the classroom? So if we can use paraprofessionals to teach and to do all this work and make them do everything, what is the person that's getting paid, a couple of $100,000 doing behind that desk?
I got you.
you know let's get them in to teach some science courses if they can. Let's get them in to do this and that, because if everybody wants to fix this system, I think we all have to pitch in. We all have to pitch in. We all have to volunteer, you know
Okay. Um, well, I know you have your work cut out for you. This I gotta see. I gotta see this financial turnaround for the city of Brockton. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see it. Um, I would love to see the school systems do good.
yes.
Um,
And I do too. I don't like it. My son plays music.
mhm.
um I went to Brockton High School, and it was a music program they had, and I paid my money, and then the next day they told me they don't have funding for it. So how do you set up something, invite parents, and then the next day you're telling me that it's over? Um, so I look sometimes outside of the community for my child to get that, and I have to pay for it. So I'm as frustrated and disappointed in all of these things being cut. So, not to get off track, let me give you an example, right? So, we want to address mental health. We want to address, um, you know, emotional and mental health, right? So, we're cutting the arts program because it's not important, right? We're cutting music program. It's not important. Um, some sports. We're cutting all these things that give kids um, a channel, to work out their frustration, work out their anger. And so I don't think it's good. I think these programs uh, fosters their well-being, their mental health. Music is known to be therapeutic. Why are we cutting this program and then we're running around looking for something to put a band-aid on their mental health? It's like, wait a minute, you already have this here. The problem is there's barely any instruments in the classroom, in the music classroom. And the teachers that teach music, they don't teach instruments. So what do they teach?
Interesting.
What do they teach?
Now that we're talking about the children and the students, let's talk about family and community. Okay, one of the biggest hurdles teachers have, committee members have, professionals have in the school systems is parent or family engagement with their child.
Hmm.
Okay, how do you plan to collaborate with the community members and parent groups to shape decisions about curriculum, school policies, and district priorities?
Okay. So, like I said, it's to partner up with organizations that are already in the community that can reach these parents a lot quicker. And we have the Cape Verdean Association, um, we have the Haitian community, excuse me, we have the library, and we also have certain events going on at the schools, right? Where you have all the parents in there. And that's a perfect time to get the parents right there because they're all there. They're there at bingo night, they're there, um, at Halloween events. They're all there. And I think that is the time to reach the parents. And it's also sending different kinds of communication home. You can send text, like my son's school right now, we get a newsletter by text. And you can just scroll down, look at the pictures, see what they're doing and all that. I never got that before. And this is only one school. Did Olivia, do you get that from before from Gilmore?
No,
No.
but I did get it from another school.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we have to find out what preference parents have, right? And we have to understand the parents sometimes because you have sometimes parents are working 2 to 3 jobs. Um, can we use the Boys and Girls Club to get information out to parents when they pick up their kid? There's just so much out there. It takes us to, it takes time. It takes an effort for us to sit down and to strategize how we're going to do it. And if it doesn't work, we need to come back to the table and develop another plan. So it's going to take effort to reach the parents.
It's a difficult task.
It is, but it's not impossible
Yeah.
as long as you have members that are willing and we have partners in the community that are willing, you
It's a
know.
difficult task, meaning you have immigrant, multilingual families. You have, working class families. You have people that work 2, 3 jobs. Cost of living in Brockton's high. So you're asking the parent to drop one job that could pay for that rent at the end of the month to tend to these school activities. You see what I mean? So
Yeah, so yes, I see what you mean. We're not going to be able to satisfy everybody, right?
yes, yes.
No, nobody's going to do that. That's impossible. But we can we can reach out to them if they have a phone, somebody, a liaison can put the effort and reach out to them. If they need it in a different language, right, we can reach out to them. um Whether it be Brazilian, Haitian, Cape Verdean, Spanish, there's multiple languages. We can try, you know. It's not guaranteed, but we have to put the effort there. We have to.
Can I interject for a second?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
So, my daughter, she didn't always attend Brockton schools. She used to go to Stoughton schools, and they did something I liked a lot. Is that one parent that was like, the head of the PTO, she would go introduce herself to like, I want to say majority of every single parent, and she had a big Facebook page with a bunch of members on it, and they would post every day, all the time. And we would post activities, concerns, voting things, and it was like a big community. And you could go on there at 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, because somebody's always up, write a question or anything, and somebody would respond to you, somebody would help you, and it was like good. So we can also use social media too, because even if you're working, people are scrolling online, and then the good thing about it is if you have like Cape Verdeans and Haitians and other cultures, you can make a page with them too that it comes in their language, but
No, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense because social media has taken control of how news is being sent,
mhm
how news is being created,
Yes.
and it's actually right now I talk to people on Messenger more than
mhm
I do on my cell phone.
yeah
You know, it's when I call someone, it's on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
mhm
So we could use that as a tool for the school committee.
yeah
Yeah, it is. And also, what this is why it's important, and I asked my daughter to come here because we have to hear from students, because I'm from a different generation, right? I don't have the answer to everything, but we need to hear them. They need to have a voice, because what they're saying is important, because this is, if we're helping them, they're telling us how. And so we have to do that. The other thing is that um, wards can team up. And if the ward counselor is having a meeting and they have people that are going to these meetings, we can also give information there. So there's a few ways that we can get information out there and have and engage parents, you know. And if we can't engage parents, my thing is, I don't want that student to fall through the crack because their parents are not involved and they might feel that nobody cares. Um, we want to support that student. We want to have a support person in the school or a teacher. I had a teacher that did a lot for me, Mr. Steve Rowan.
Woohoo!
Kudos to you, Steve Rowan. He helped us a lot. And back in the day at high school, we have Mr. Jose Ivora. He's passed. Um, he was the best guidance counselor ever. He was somebody that we could go to with problems from home, academics, anything. Mr. Ivora was always there to help. So um, having that contact in the school system is very important for the success of the students.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I have a teacher, my old math teacher, Mr. Carlton.
Uh-huh.
I remember him till today.
Yeah.
I went to Madison Park High School,
Okay.
and at the time, no one wanted to learn math besides me in that classroom. So he pulled me aside. You know, the kids were going crazy. So every day we had math. I learned trigonometry through him and calculus and so on and so forth. And he would give me one-on-one teaching, mentoring and so on and so forth. And I learned math one-on-one with a teacher with a class full of like 35 students.
Mm.
And I remember this man till today.
Yes.
And my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Humans. And I had a second grade teacher, Miss McLester. She was from down south, the southern teacher.
Mhm.
Back then, it was okay to paddle someone's hands. So I learned math with the ruler. So, and back, what's called child abuse today was discipline back then.
Yeah.
So I'm not insinuating we paddle the kids like they used to, but
Yeah.
I was paddled in the second grade to learn math, and I learned it real quick with the ruler. Miss McGlester,
Yeah.
if you're alive today listening to this podcast, God bless you.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that's what we're going to implement, but certain teachers have a lasting memory in your mind. But today, this evening, we talked about your educational plan. We talked about governance, accountability, transparency. We talked about student learning and academic outcomes. We talked about mental health and school climate. We talked about family and community engagement. We talked about staffing. We didn't talk about staffing and equity, but we talked about budget, oversight, and fiscal responsibility. What can you summarize out of all this discussion that we had today? What can you summarize, and what is your strength and weaknesses that you can share with the audience?
Um, I believe one of my strengths is team building and organizing. Um, another one of my strengths is that I want involvement from parents. Okay, because there are a lot of parents out there that are seeking help from the school and that they are worried about their kids, or they are seeking additional enrichment for their children. Like my child is talented and gifted, and it's not there. So um, I want to involve parents. A lot of people, even as a nurse, like sometimes they don't want to deal with family um, because it's going to mess up what they're doing. I'm the opposite. Okay. I love families. I want families to come. I want families to be involved because at the end of the day, that is your child. That is your child, you know, and you want the best for your child. And that's what I care about. Um, so I'm all about team building and organizing, and um, and I like to finish what I start, So I'm focused on, finishing things that I start. I can bring people together to do things. Um, my weakness.
Let me clarify the word weakness. Weakness is a form of strength.
Yeah.
So when I ask you what are your weaknesses, it's basically I'm asking you what do you need to work on to become a better school committee member?
So, is to educate myself. Right now, I'm educating myself on different strategies, on different things. I read a lot. I watch, school committee board from across the states, from Alabama to New Jersey to Maine, um, everywhere. And I'm watching how they strategize. What are they doing different? Um, how did they turn a school system that was doing terrible into a school system that is now performing? What strategy did they use? And so my thinking is, okay, what can we do? Can we do this? Can we do that? That is something that's a board discussion, and we have to, of course, include the superintendent in all of these decision making, as well as the parents, uh, once something comes up, you know. Um, so that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have you have one child in the school system now. You had two that went through.
Yeah.
And today you have your one of your older daughters here. Would you
Hmm.
like to introduce her? And
This is Melanie, my
Hi.
firstborn.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, isn't she beautiful?
welcome, welcome.
Yes.
So, what do you have to say, Melanie? Welcome to the show. She's been sitting here quietly, making a couple comments here and there. So, what do you have to say about your mother, and what encouragement do you have for her, and what do you think she needs to do to win this race?
um, I think my mom, she's very genuine. She's very caring. She's intelligent. I think that's what they need in the school board. Um, like she said, she's looking at, different districts, what they're doing, how to compare it. She talks to young students. She has friends in the teaching in the school. So, she's able to talk to different people, put things together, and try to see, oh, if we can fix it this way or we can go this way and, see how things work out. So I hope my mom wins. If she doesn't, there's always, another time, because then at least she's made all this networking and connections, get your foot through the door. But I think my mom would bring like good changes to the Brockton schools, very good changes.
So, what do you have to say to the people listening, and what do you have to say to the people of Ward 4 in Brockton? And also, have you been telling your friends' parents to vote for her?
I have. I have. I've been at work telling people, I've been at school, all my friends. I've been telling everybody. And so hopefully, they listen and she wins. But
So, if you don't mind,
Mhm.
I think I asked her to come here because I wanted to ask her a question about when you went to school,
Mhm.
like and going back to the bullying real quick, right? Were
Mhm.
you bullied in school?
Yeah, I think everybody gets bullied. But me personally, I think a way around bullying is education. Because for the most part, when people bully, it's because they're projecting something. At least that's what I learned when I went to college. If there's like a basic, maybe like sociology class or psychology class that will educate these students about materialism, consumerism, all these different types of things. Another thing is the community itself, property taxes, all these different things that bring money into the city, all these different things count. So I think the more education that people have, you can make better decisions. You can understand emotionally where you're coming from. Like, why am I bullying somebody? You know, is it because what I got going on at home? And you can actually pinpoint this is where it's coming from. Another thing was they don't really like when you go to Brockton High, they don't really prepare you for real life. And some kids already are in real life. Like some kids are 16, 17, working jobs, trying to help their family pay bills. They say no taxation without representation, but then they don't teach you how to do taxes. They tell you to go learn that in college, but you can work when you're 16. So you should know how those types of things work. You should know how to, basic taxes, how to read your paycheck. I remember in junior high, they put a bunch of budgets into, those whiteboards, those smart boards, just to teach us the same thing. And I think they could have did something better with that money than buy those expensive smart boards. But those are just some of my little opinions.
Those are big opinions.
Yeah, yes,
Very
yes.
strong opinions.
Because
Right,
as an adult, I
right.
realized they really didn't prepare me for anything. Like I was 16 working and I couldn't read my check, and I could bring it to the school and be like, "Oh, can you help me break this check down and like the math that goes into it?" And nobody really can, and that's important. That's real life things.
Do you think financial education is key to be part of a curriculum in Brockton?
Yes.
Okay.
Financial education, property education, what students and their families can do to bring money in. Because when you go to other cities and towns, they have like nice houses, the lawns are mowed, there's no trash on the street. That brings in money because it looks good. It has an aesthetic. People care. You can tell they care. When you come to Brockton, it's like the complete opposite, and then nobody wants to put the funding in because it doesn't look good, you know. So and like I said, the social media thing, you can reach a bunch of people in a bunch of different languages very, very easily on social media.
Understandable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So this is my thing. This is why it's so important that students have a voice because um they can be part of the solution and parents can be part of the solution and partners can be part of the solution and the teachers. So if we're all fixing something, right, it makes it better because, like you said, parents are working, this one doesn't have time, this one. But if we all pitch in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, we are able to make it better for our students and we're able to have a better city and, you know, and students can achieve their goals and success. And for me, the the education that we give them, they have an opportunity to give back to the city. They have opportunity to flow from the school right back into our community and make it better.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We have a few minutes left on the show. I would like for you to give your, how should I say it, your closing remarks. And but before you do that, let people know how they can reach you. Is there a website where they can donate to your campaign? Um, or can they call you on election day so you can let them know where they vote, how they know where to vote, what precinct, so on and so. How do they get in
Yes.
contact with Maria Antonia Daveiga?
So, my website is votedaveiga.com. Um, they can go on there and they can also find out where they can vote. They can donate through that website if they wish. They can register um, to vote. That will take them to the official website. And also they can reach me by calling me. My phone number is on my cards and some flyers. I'm going to give it to you. It's 781-922-0392. They can call me and leave a message. I'm usually good about getting back to people. Um, and they can also text me on that number and I will call them back if they have any questions.
Okay.
Okay.
I know you're pretty good at returning phone calls, and you have no problem answering questions and difficult questions. Um, and you don't have the answer to everything, but at least you
No.
know how to answer someone's question.
Yes,
One way or another.
I try to tell people the truth. I'm not a politician. I'm not supported by any interest groups. Okay, I'm genuine, um, natural as I'm not. I don't have any um, agenda. How do you say? So I am for the students. The smile that my son puts on my face is what I want for the students in Brockton. You know, and that's what makes me happy. You know, that's my happiness.
So tell everyone how you feel, and let us know what other comments you have to say, and give us a nice ending to this beautiful and
Okay.
wonderful interview.
Okay. So I thank you. I'm excited for this opportunity. I have faith. I have faith um, that we're going to be able to do better in Brockton. I really do. So again, I ask for your vote on November 4th. My name again is Maria Antonia de Vega, and that's my marriage name. My maiden name is Vicente, Maria Antonia Barbaza Vicente. Um, so I'm gonna just read this for you. I believe in one simple truth. Our children are our future, and the choices we make today will shape the opportunities they have tomorrow. Like many of you, I know what it's like to be a parent, navigating a school system that sometimes feels overwhelming, frustrating, and sometimes even discouraging. I've seen students with great potential left behind, and not because they lacked ability, but because the system wasn't designed to hear their voices or respond to their needs. That's why I'm running, because our schools are the heart of our community, and every student deserves to feel seen, supported, and prepared for success. Let's be honest about where we are. Too many of our students are falling behind in reading and math, and too many programs are being cut. Teachers are stretched thin, and support staff aren't being valued fairly for what they do. Parents feel shut out of decision making, and too often, politics takes priorities over what's best for our kids. I believe we can do better, and we must do better. I am committed to building a school system that works with families, not around them. This means transparency and accountability, This means equity and inclusion. I will advocate for safe and supportive schools. So the question is, why me? Why should you trust me with your vote? Because I've been where you are. I'm not a career politician. I'm a parent, a neighbor, an advocate, and a community member who has rolled up my sleeves and worked along families and educators. I've listened to you on my door knocking runs. I've listened to your children, and I hear their concerns and their dreams. I don't come with all of the answers, but I do come with integrity, with open ears, and with determination to make sure that all students have the best education, experience, and opportunities to make them soar like the eagle. I bring teamwork that brings solution for a better future. In order for us to build a strong school district, we have to work together. We will not always agree, but we should always agree to do our best to find a solution for the sake of our kids. By working as a team, we are more effective, and trust will become an automatic result. I'm asking for your trust, your partnership, and your vote on November 4th. And if anyone has any questions, I want them to call me.
That number
I'm
again?
very approachable. 781-922-0392.
And votedaveiga.com.
Thank you.
All right. This is the best thing that has happened since sliced bread. So thank you for showing up to the show today. Thank you for participating.
Thank you for
Melanie.
having me.
This
Thank
was
you.
a wonderful time.
Yes,
and
thank you.
hopefully you guys can come back again on another date to participate.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
This is Hamilton Rodriguez with the Outsiders. I'm sorry, guys. Hamilton Rodriguez with the Outsiders. Podcast every Sunday night, 7:30. Next Sunday, we'll have another episode. Stay tuned. YouTube, Hamilton Rodriguez Facebook page, and Hamilton Rodriguez Instagram. We're here for you guys. Controversy, entertainment, politics, and whatever you want to talk about. This is the show. Tune in. Hamilton Rodriguez with the Outsiders. Today we had Maria Antonia Daveiga, Ward 4 for the City of Brockton School Committee candidate. She's going to win.